Ladies and gentlemen, season 3 is about to wrap up. And Raphael Cartwright, what's going on? Michael K, what's going on? And I figured we'll end it with a bang. The last episode is going to be this Thursday with your boy Pialucci. Lucci, aka Lucci, Anthony Pialucci, aka Lucci, and I might have CB83 on here, but right now, special day, special guest, special cigar, and of course, you can see by the thumbnail who the fuck it is. So we'll come back, and yeah, man, I got a nice little intro for my man, and we'll be right back, man.
Shake, shake. Shake, shake, yeah, shake, 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 shake. Shake money in the place. Miami plays, Miami days, and the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the fans again. Miami plays, Miami days, and the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the fans again. Is you a fan or a troll? Are you trying to wish us good? Trying to take control, bringing problems to the hood. What takes your soul? Miami Dolphins bring the wood. Super Bowl is the goal. Tyreek Hill. I'm trying to kick it with Shake. You gotta be a real fan. No pretenders and fakes. We're gonna open up the line. Come correct with your taste. If you step into us blind, we're gonna show you the way. Miami plays, Miami days, and the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the fans again. Miami plays, Miami days, and the blender was shaking his friends. We're gonna talk about the fans again. Never want the season to end. Let's mix it up a little with gin. And I remember when I knew that the Dolphins would win. Yeah, rockin' with Shake, rockin' with Shake. Let's go. I never want the season to end. Never mix it up a little with gin. That's right. Pass it off to one of my friends. Yeah, rockin' with Shake, rockin' with Shake. Larry K, what up? Phin-Addicts. T.F.T.G. The tailgate. Miami Dolphins, baby. What up, Lou? Shake money. Crypto. Check it. Me? God bless y'all. Miami Dolphins #1. And we out. Miami Dolphins football, the greatest football team. We push the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. Respect us.
So, Lewis, who the hell are you interviewing tonight? I really don't know who he is. Well, I am going to tell you, man. Good things happened in November. I remember November 30th, 2012, 13 years ago, me and my old lady got together. We've been together 13 years. And November 11th, 2021 is when Chris Capitan and Chris the Captain at the time, Big Kev and Brandon the Bookie started the very first episode of the Finn's Tailgate. It's going to be 4 years this November 11th. I had him on twice, and I'm going to have him on as many times as I need to, man. He's going to be here every year. He's going to be a staple. As long as I'm doing the In Blender, he's going to be on this motherfucker at least once in the season. So he's going to be in season 4, season 5. You get the fucking gist. Anyway, this next guest, 4 years, man. He started off with Mike on the mic. Then he branched off to color commentary, who he saw for the first time on TD Finn's Take in the chat section. He loved his the cut of his jib. He loved his jokes, his dry humor. He picked him up. Then eventually he got Ali, Lewis, myself, Crypto, KP from time to time. Yeah, Mr. Polk. You have now the West Coast Dolphin Fan Club, Wrestling Talk, 4th and 10U. This guy is responsible for everything. As a matter of fact, he's not directly responsible, but he is one of the causations of this dope intro I have because of HB in the back. So, and how can I forget the dude that I'm going to meet next week in Seattle, Tonk TMI Thursdays, which, by the way, I think Michael K is forever grateful for his shampoo advice, because I think he's been using it ever since, when he does find time to shower. Anyway, let me get introduced to you a guy I met, and now I am proud to call my friend El Capitan. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Shake, man? That was a great intro. Friend and family at this point, buddy. You know, we've had the pleasure of meeting up with the dogs and the kids. That's family stuff right there. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, and let me tell you something again. When I met your daughter, it was refreshing to see a 12-year-old girl look like a fucking 12-year-old fucking girl. You're fucking, you had kids. It's like, dude, it's like, I seen you go through a lot of shit in your personal with Twitter beefs and with your job situation, but seeing your family, I understand why you always have a smile on your face, man, because you have the most important thing that people sought out to have, man, and that's an amazing wife and amazing family.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, you know, it's a long story of the many lives of El Capitan. This is just the latest chapter. A lot of struggles in the early years. Maybe one day I'll write the tell-all of El Capitan. We'll see. It's a lot. It's an extensive amount of life lived, to the point where now, like, you know, the only thing I got in hardship in my life, and listen, family has stuff. Everyone's got things, always stuff, but, like, you know, you can balance it all. It's hard, but if you're doing the right things for the right reasons, you'll find the right way to get it done. And that's pretty cut and dry. Yeah. You know, I was listening to all the fellas, all the homies, you know, from all the way back to Big Kev and Brandon the Bookie, back when the boys were doing cash and tickets and stuff like that on the betting shows, to now. It is, I mean, it's all the way to right now with Papa Paul and Winners and the West Coast Dolphin fans and the homies, right? It's the land of misfit toys. And when I went live, and I had, you know, prior to that November 11th drop of the first episode or whatever, it was a lot of preparation and studying and grinding and learning. It's not like I'm a computer guy, right? And
I remember you saying that one of the ways you cut your teeth was because of the Go Time Dolphin fans.
That's right. The homies at Go Time Dolphins. Well, yeah, listen, that they were the first taste of talking about my beloved Miami Dolphins and having full-fledged opinions and finding more people to commiserate with on it, right? It was great. But to take it and do something and actually, like, have programming with it, it took a lot of learning, a lot of, you know, stepping out of my comfort zone with trying to learn things that, you know, the computer, the going live, how to go live, present yourself, cameras, mics. I mean, you name it, just educating yourself. Oh, I mean, rinse and repeat with trying to learn things that when it came time to go, it was so much time invested. There was going to be no way that I wasn't going to continue to do something like this. And I had always envisioned that, yeah, I was going to see some of the homies that I know that want to do this type of stuff, maybe get into it. But I knew I was going to find more like-minded guys that I was going to vibe with, that were going to want to throw down and do this the Finn's Tailgate style. I seen it. That's how, you know, Shake and Ali and Color, and I mean, from top to bottom, from everybody that's been a part and still is a part of the Finn's Tailgate. I think the lifeblood of what I wanted or what I had thought it could be is alive and well. And so I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I am.
And then you obviously there's hey, listen, There's a Bible quote that I like to hear is it's not about the strongest or the smartest, but who could hold on to the longest. Because we've seen a lot of good shows, and these aren't like the Fins of Hollywood, Batman, Sports Music, Stephen D. On the Fin side, a lot of shows eventually they fizzle out. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying?
It's hard. It's hard to remain consistent. This past off season with personal life, I knew it was going to be, a lot harder to not be able to give the time that I want to give to this, that I used to give to it. I knew it wasn't going to be the case, but I'll still find a routine of it. I'm still working stuff in and everything like that. Before you guys know, I was going hours and days all the time. It was crazy, but things change, and but not what the desire or love for this is. Like, there will always be this continuing, and I knew that, like, this was never about doing it now. It was about doing it forever. This Dolphins, I ain't gonna stop being a Dolphins fan. So now that I have somewhere to talk about it, I ain't gonna stop talking about it, and that's pretty much cut and dry. A lot of people want to silence those voices, as you know, but that's all right. I'm willing to wait them all out, dog. That's it.
Yeah, people come, people go. It is what it is, man. And for different reasons, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Dolphins this season. It's hard to figure out because, on one hand, they made some good moves, and on the other hand, it's like, they only signed 1-year contracts, and I don't know. It's hard to tell, man. How do you feel about this season? Do you think they're as far as contending, not for the AFCs, but at least becoming respectable and playing and winning games? Yeah.
Well, I find this interesting, and shout out to Lou. I appreciate you, my brother. Again, this community has what I believe, to respond to Lou real quick. I think it has extremely strong cornerstones with the people that vibe, and I feel like we're overall welcoming. I know there's people that don't vibe with us for whatever reason, but they have their reasons. We would vibe with them if they would just kind of chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, dog, relax. You know what I'm saying? But they don't want to relax. They want to turn up. We can do that too. And that's the type of community I think we want to have. It's not as large as I think it'll be, but here's what I do know. And I'm going to speak.
You don't want crypto to turn up, I can tell you that.
Yeah, but here's what I do know, right?
Mm-hmm.
When this empire of Miami Dolphins falls and they rebuild the next one, because that's how this always goes. When the next empire of the Miami Dolphins are built, these cornerstones of people like ourselves that are doing this stuff, that are around in the community, in and out on Twitter, all that stuff, like, when the next flood of fans come, that's what will be there waiting for them. And maybe we'll actually get it right this time. Maybe we'll build the type of fan base and folks and peoples that will get it right this time. So,
yeah, I agree. So, but again, as far as this season is concerned, what are your?
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Okay, yeah, what I was going to say. Sorry, I got a little bit off tangent there.
That's all good. It's all good.
To me, I'm surprised by how surprised everybody is. I thought it was painfully clear by when they started adding free agents in the offseason. When free agency came, it was there was so little movement as far as re-signing players and manipulation of money before free agency. And it was apparent by the message that the Miami Dolphins were sending out that, hey, accountability, we're gonna trim some fat and get better because of that. That was the message I heard. We're gonna trim some fat and get better around here, which it's usually about bulking up in the NFL, for the analogy. But now that the team is a team that seems to be doing that, and look, we're short in corner. I don't know what this corner room's going to look like. We've already got problems at offensive line, and it seems like the last time the general manager spoke about offensive line, he said y'all more worried about it than me. That's how it's been around here, and that's been a reflection. There's no surprises. Offensive line is being built the way they want to build it. It's been the same type of O-line investment overall the last 3 years. So why is it a shock now?
Yeah.
There's, don't get me wrong. I think this team could be better than I anticipate, but I also think it could be everything I expected. I have these things that I'm looking at and paying attention to about the team that I could potentially see to shine in this season. But that all hinges on other things. Tua has to stay healthy all year. I don't care how you slice it. He's got to stay healthy. You take him off the table, and it's a roll of the dice. Could we catch lightning in a bottle with Zach Wilson? I don't know. Maybe this is the resurgence of Zach Wilson. Or is Quinn Ewers, I don't know, going to play like his hair's on fire and just show everybody up? Because other than that, the only way this team is going to have any sustainability of success or have any kind of success would be if Tua is clear-cut playing every single football game. Outside of that, it's a 50-50 shot. That's just the facts. I don't like him anymore. We can sit here and build up Zach Wilson and Ewers all you want, but that's just the reality right now. Also, I could see this defensive line not just being good, but potentially being dominant, being an absolute force. If everything's firing on all cylinders, if Jalen Phillips is doing what he can do when he's killing it with Chubb, with Chop, with Kenneth Grant, with Zach Sealer, I just can't see the digital numbers of the players on the D-line not looking really good. And if it finds some kind of communication and a rotation with some of the other dudes like Biggers and whomever, could be straight dominant, just myrtleizing people. And I would love that. Like, give me a offense that is secure with the football and balanced with running and trying to just be a balanced football team and having a absolute stingy defense in any way, shape, or form. If you can't be stingy in the secondary with batting down footballs and picking them out of the air, then you got to be stingy, never giving up a yard and never letting a clean pocket and let a quarterback get a throw off on timing at all. And if you could do one or the other, they've obviously chosen defensively that they're going to have this D-line, this front seven be the entire thing. Nothing's a surprise. We've been talking about it for months. That's what I'm saying. So if those things pan out, then we'll have to see. Other than that, I don't know.
So, a lot of people, like, for instance, when we had Byron Jones, whatever. Yeah. They were saying, he didn't have a lot of turnovers. But the way I look at it is if it's
people didn't throw to his side either, though. You got to remember, he erased that half of they didn't throw to him. He would allow no completions, didn't pick the ball off, but no one threw to his side. He closed that lane. And he didn't travel. He just closed that side. That's it. And it was worth the money. I don't care what you say. You tell me anyone who gets on that side of the field it's now 10 on 10. You can game plan for anything like that. I don't care who you are. You ain't even got to be a good defensive coordinator to figure that out.
Yeah, but what I was saying though, look, it's the way I look at it is if it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, 3rd and whatever, right? And the ball is being thrown and the DB prevents the person from catching it. To me, that's a turnover because you're punting the ball now. That's just as good as a turnover because now it's not an interception, but at the end of the day, you're getting turnover on downs because the next play they're punting the ball.
I mean, technically, yeah, I guess. I mean, they're having to, but I get your point. You've stopped their momentum. They could flip the field with a good punt, but I get you. To me, there is nobody with that caliber on this secondary right now. So I'm not counting on anyone in the secondary outside of Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I'm going to be honest. Don't nobody be surprised when Minkah Fitzpatrick does not look good this year because he's going to be running circles trying to clean up everything, at least in the beginning. So let's be easy on Minkah Fitzpatrick, because I promise you the criticisms of him week 1, week 2, week 3 getting beat is going to be
and the criticism of Anthony Weaver too.
Probably. We'll just have to see what happens with the Dolphins as far as win and loss columns go. If they're 2-1 in 3 weeks, probably won't hear much about it, you know. But I expect Minkah Fitzpatrick to get torched by this fan base, the sycophants of the fan base, because they're not going to really look at what the problem is, and that's he's going to be asked to cover a ton of ground and be expected to freelance. That's going to be the problem. They're going to be expected to have him kind of freelance out there. So honestly, he should have asked for more money because he's got all the leverage. What you got, he should have got more money. If he was smart, he would have demanded more money from the Dolphins. Maybe he wants to be here because really it's not as much as he could have gotten for this literal pickle that they're in the DB room, and pretty much it's leaning towards him. Because even if we find some other talented guys, they're just now getting in here. I don't care what you say. Yeah, they can be professional you want. They're still behind the 8 ball. So I expect the Dolphins to be extremely active after 53-man roster cuts for cornerback help. Yeah. And I got this hot, steaming hot take right now. If for whatever reason the Browns cut Nick Needham, the Dolphins will sign him. If the Browns do not put Nick Needham on their 53-man roster, the Miami Dolphins will sign Nick Needham back to the roster, and he will be back out here playing, which I said to myself when they got rid of him, I was like, why? He costs nothing. He knows the defense. He knows the thing. Hey, man, quiet. Don't be barking. I thought that was a miss, and here we are. How much better would we feel right now if Nick Needham was here?
Yeah, good bounce.
If Nick Needham was still healthy and here, how much better would we feel right now? Because right now it's just Storm Duck and whoever the next dude is. So I'm just saying. I'm not saying Nick Needham is a world beater, but I need a little bit of continuity in this secondary right now. It's concerning.
Yeah, and the way I look at it too is if Anthony Weaver, they expect Anthony Weaver to, pull this miracle off. If McDaniel had the caliber wide receivers that Anthony Weaver as cornerbacks, how good would this offense be?
Well, I got to say this, Shake. Mike McDaniel decided to spend money on wide receivers. Anthony Weaver decided to spend money on D linemen. This is his call. He obviously wants it this way. And we can't say the Dolphins haven't invested in it either. That's just the facts. If they really wanted to go cornerback, they could have in the first round. They didn't. They went Kenneth Grant, which I still think is an excellent pick. But then they proceeded to trade away Jalen Ramsey, not for a cornerback, for a safety. This is their design. They're going to be liable for it, if whatever. But I think Anthony Weaver thinks no matter what, he's going to put pressure. I think he's going to dial up like pressure packages, where he's going to have, everybody come to the weak side of the formation and come in and then send a blitzer, or have somebody that's like a linebacker fill a gap but bounce out and come around to the other side. There's some things I expect Anthony Weaver to dial up with the linebackers he has, from outside linebackers to the stand-up linebackers. So to me, that's what he wants to do. And he thinks he can get it done. And by golly, we're going to see it. I think it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to look different for sure. It's going to look different. So there is the dude, listen, he look at all the talent on that D-line. You might as well go heavy. Fuck it. You might as well, right? You might as well. Like even the free agents they're bringing in here. Linebackers, standing linebackers. Last year they brought what's his name, Jordan, and then this year they went and got Willie Gay, and guess what? Those guys look like they're gonna tear it the hell up out there too. Look like they're gonna tear it up in that soft underneath underbelly zone. Linebackers are gonna get tore up. Tight ends are going to get tore up, and these passes ain't going to be good passes. The D-line's going to get the pressure. If you even hesitate for a second or someone gets beat on an angle, it's cooked. They're using speed. They're mixing power. I'm interested to see how it works. Because if somebody does get good blocking and, you allow someone to sit in the pocket and dole out the friggin' goods from behind a clean pocket, this secondary is getting torched. They're going to get torched. So that's the facts. Offensively, we'll see what the hell happens. We know this offense can be good.
Yeah, because you know what? I think that's one of the reasons they didn't want to pay the tight end, because last year I think was a fluke, because this by design I don't think this offense is designed to have productive tight end play.
Well, I would say the reality is it's meant to have a tight end. You're going to have a team. You're going to be playing winning games. You're going to have like a 3-2 record, right? And you ain't thrown to the tight end but maybe 1 or 2 times. And then you're going to go against like the Ravens, and that tight end's going to be open all day, and you're just going to myrtleize them in a game, whomever it is. That's what this offense is designed, because everyone has to account for all these weapons. They're going to be putting Achane out wide. From what I hear in practice, they're doing it in the red zone. Because guess what? He can run good routes. Anyhow, at some point, that tight end, that fullback, and remember, a lot of those targets that went to him were Alec Ingold targets. And Alec Ingold was injured a lot. Well, a little, not a lot.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Achane, because Achane, they asked why, they asked Tyreek Hill, what can they do to be better on 3rd and short, and he said, get Achane out of there because he's not a power back.
Yeah, well, you know what? Everybody can be mad all they want, but that's the damn truth. I agree with him. How about them apples? How about I agree with Tyreek Hill? Get him up out of there. If it's 3rd and 1, why am I getting tricky? Don't get tricky. Get aggressive. Get aggressive. That's it. I don't need – listen, I love Achane, and I think he's in traffic. He's slippery. And if you're going to – God forbid you try to reach out to arm tackle him as he's running by, he's too fast to get a hold of, and you're not going to get him. But these big boys, while you're trying to stutter step or find an angle to burst into, they get a hand on you, you're going right to the ground. And you got to have that extra thunder thigh that like friggin' Barry Sanders used to have. Like, they got to not be able to get their hand around your thigh with one hand. Achane, that's not his specialty. He would agree with that. I would say, listen, I would rather those reps go to him being on the boundary and working them out on a little freaking screen pass, like a little come down screen pass. Bam! Right there at the 1-yard pass. Let him get it, dive forward, cut the angle. If they stack the formation, you're out there one-on-one and they got you against the safety. I know you're faster than him. I would rather throw him the football in 3rd and short than have him run. I think the hope is it would be Jalen Wright, but to be honest, Jalen Wright's got a little bit of the dropsies. He's getting the football taken out of his hand at camp. He's dropping the ball on the ground. And dude, you want to get your ass handed to you by the coach as a running back? Drop that football, bro. Oh my God. What you ain't doing? You didn't do wet ball drills, none of that stuff? Come on, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. The boys were out back fishing.
That's all good. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
What do you like? By the way, when you go fishing, what do you like catching? What is your favorite fish to catch and eat?
Oh, not to eat, but my favorite fish to probably catch is just largemouth bass. I love catching them. I'm not really even like getting on a boat. I like getting out and walking a pond or walking a canal or something like that. And it's also fun, like when you're doing it like this, you be driving around and you kind of keeping an eye out for good fishing holes. You're like, oh shit, you see like these woods and you're like, oh man, I bet you there's a fishing hole back there. Then one day you get back there with your fishing pole, and boom, there it is, a lake, and you find some spot and catch bass. It's like hunting and fishing at the same time. It's really, really fun. They're a son of a bitch to catch. They put up a fight. They're meaner than hell, and not really good for eating. Like, you can eat them, but I wouldn't recommend it. You got to clean the mercury out of them, and you know, it's kind of takes the taste away. It's not really worth it.
What about the type of fish that Michael K eats at his fish fry? The tilapia.
Tilapia is the most disgusting fish on planet Earth. I swear the way, to God,
I came up with the name. I came up with the name today. You know how tuna is chicken of the sea?
Yeah.
Well, tilapia is bologna of the sea.
Yeah, dude. No, like, listen, that's a dig on bologna. No, tilapia is like when like you go to like when you go to like a Waffle House and they empty out that grease pan where they've been scraping all that nasty shit that's been left on the freaking griddle top. That's what tilapia is. They're the grease pan fish. It's disgusting. I would never eat it. They're the nastiest fish on earth. I don't recommend people that eat it. I used to catch them in South Florida in water that had nothing but dead animals and a body and diapers and a shopping cart. And the only fish that was in there was tilapia, and they were plentiful. And that's the fish y'all are eating. I'm just letting you know. It's disgusting.
By the way, the Winn-Dixie by my house, they closed down. And
someone got sick and died off the tilapia?
No, shit. Oh. That would have been me. I used to love the tilapia because they put it in beer batter. I love that beer batter.
Of course, you could beer batter anything. I could beer batter this mouse and eat it. That's the problem, boys. That's the problem. If you got to beer batter and season up fish so much, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. That ain't how you eat fish. You want to eat good fish? I'm going to tell you great fish to eat. So the Spanish mackerel run around Florida all the time. Sometimes they're on the West Coast. Sometimes they're on the East Coast. Sometimes they're all over. Catch a Spanish mackerel and just sashimi that bitch and eat that. Tell me that ain't the best fish you ever ate. Just clean it, cut it. Huh? Yeah, no, he speaks in Spanish. Ay, ya te la haste, güey. Arriba, gloriosa. Yeah, they're not happy. But no, they're I think they're incredible to eat. It's awesome. So
damn. So let me ask you this. All right.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Dolphin off-season draft and off-season move? Free agent draft and free agent move.
Draft. I'll have to think on the draft one. I don't know. Free agent, dude, like that Reggie Bush signing I was so stoked for that when we got that. I don't know, bro. You know, because it's weird because, like, I forget how old I was right around that time when the Reggie Bush kind of thing happened, but I was still, like, thick in my, you know, high hopes on the Dolphins and seeing things. I'm thinking, God, finally, the one time Dan ain't around, though, they finally get a legit running back that could do damage. And I liked Reggie Bush. I thought he was a good football player. That was a crazy acquisition. I don't know, man. I wasn't as hype on the freaking Ndamukong Suh as everybody was, to be honest with you.
And, you know, it's funny. I had a buddy of mine. He's a Cowboys fan. You know, Man of the Hour. You met him.
Yeah.
He said when Reggie Bush was on the Dolphins, what he would do is he would run a 4 wide receiver with Reggie Bush, then audible to a 5-man wide receiver set, and he was just as good as a wide receiver.
Bro, you could have just myrtleized people. There's so many ways with Reggie Bush that you could just kill everybody. You could kill everybody because of him. All you got to do is find him on a matchup you like. And Ricky Williams was a really great acquisition. I didn't like how it started, how it ended, and how it played out. I always liked Ronnie more, personally. I was a Ronnie. I liked Ronnie more than Ricky. I thought Ricky was hella talented and stuff, but to me, Ronnie had it all. Ronnie had everything. He was a running back athlete. Ronnie Brown looked like he could beat you in most sports, not just football. That's what Ronnie looked like. Ricky looked like he was big, strong, and fast as hell. Ronnie looked like I'll whip your ass at pool, darts, cards, ping pong. That's what Ronnie looked like. He like one of those guys that was just all around fucking good at everything and was competitive. I loved Ronnie. So that was probably one of my more favorite draft picks. Excited for a draft.
I have a funny story with Ronnie Brown. By the way, fun fact with Ronnie Brown, he was the first left-handed quarterback to throw a touchdown before Tua. But
that's a fact.
He was on a fish tank, right? With
left arm of God. Go ahead.
With OJ and whatever, and he said him and Ricky Williams were roommates, whatever, right? And they went out. Ricky got drunk, and he literally had to carry him to his room, and they didn't know where his room was. And he's like, "Come on, man, I need to drop this guy off. He's getting heavy." He literally had to carry Ricky Williams to his room.
I feel like I know that story too. That he said I've heard him tell that story, maybe on there or somewhere else. Yeah, I like the Ronnie and Crowder stories. When they were, because Ronnie and
especially when Crowder was in Florida, those were the legendary stories.
Yeah,
because in Gainesville, right? If you're a football player, you get away with murder.
Murder. The town will protect you. The town will protect you. The police force will protect you. The businesses, everything will protect you. But all in all, to be honest, as much as the hijinks as the kids at Florida get into, they really don't go too far. They're not burning shit down. They're not freaking, like they're kids that go too far sometimes. But, it's not like, it's not like domestic violence or, it's like weird stuff. Mm-hmm. We get it. The kids got drunk. They smashed a couple beer bottles, threw a couple chairs. They're going to let them slide this time. Nobody got stabbed. Nobody had, drugs on it. Like, okay. So, yeah, as long as they're keeping it in line, they're going to get away with everything pretty much.
Well, except for Aaron Hernandez.
Well, he didn't do none of that shit.
Listen, to be fair, Aaron Hernandez was in Florida at the time. He was in New England. So
that's right. He didn't do none of that around here. And you know why? He knew he wasn't going to get away with it around here like he did up there. That's the facts. They put your ass. They'll give you the electric chair still here around here, bro. That ain't no joke.
I don't think Michael K was around when the first time you were in the blender. So probably was, but I wasn't paying attention. But what I can tell you is there was a story that you told on the first season 1 about your grandfather was season ticket holder, and that's how you went to a lot of games via your grandfather. And there was a Buffalo game where you got into a fight with Bills fan, and the guy wearing the Bills shirt turned out to be an actual Dolphin fan.
Oh my God, that pissed us off so much, dude.
So let's revisit that story real quick.
All right, so probably I'm maybe 7, 8, and we would go to a lot of Dolphins games. Typically, the most games I went to, my grandpa went to all of them. Nah, dog. That statute limitations
he was a choir boy in Florida. What are you talking about?
That's it, dog. That's it. Anyhow, so I'm 7, 8, whatever, somewhere around there, and we're watching. It's dang gross.
Right next to, listen.
In his shower.
Right next to this picture, I'm sure he has that in his bathroom.
Yeah, that picture's in his shower. It's gross.
But go ahead. You're 7 years old, and you're at the
So I'm with my dad. I forget which one of his friends and my grandpa, and he used to always have season tickets. And this is back in Joe Robbie Stadium. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I remember going to the games, primetime games. He would go to all of them. But if it was a Sunday night, Monday night, matinee, big time deal, Bills coming to town, we were going. Jets coming to town, we were going. On prime time, we were there. And, there's these guys, a couple rows down in front of us. They're Bills fans. They're getting rowdy. It's a back and forth game. We ended up winning the game, but it's a back and forth game. And I don't remember, but the guys up there were getting booed by the crowd. And then they start getting a little bit belligerent and everything like that. And then you know, what really set the crowd off is one of the dudes that was with them was wearing a Bills jersey, but he turns around and he pulls his jersey up like this, and he's got a Dolphins jersey underneath it. And I remember thinking, this turd coat. Like, I was a little kid, but I remember thinking the insult. I was aware of the absolute insult of it all. And the crowd starts throwing beers and stuff at him, and they came up like we did it, which I think maybe my dad threw a beer or two. And it just kind of went down. And like, they're coming up. Nobody wins fighting up in the stadium. You automatically lose. I don't care if 2 out of the 4 party you have, one's a kid and the other's an old man. You're going to lose. And so there was a big scuffle right there in the fans. And then the security came up, took them away. Everybody clapped, and we won the game. It was a good time. It's a good memory.
Oh yeah. So this is part of the show where I'm gonna show you some pictures. You know, you tell me some things here, but I'm gonna do a little differently with you, man.
Sure.
We have. I'm gonna first things first. I'm gonna bring up some head coaches, pictures of head coaches, and you tell me their best move and their worst move. All right.
All right.
Obviously, I'm gonna save the best for last. So here we go.
Fuck. God, his best move
was getting fired. No.
Oh man, his best move. Let's see. I mean, I want to say, like, it's weird because, like, God, his best move probably his best move was attaching his NFL career name to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that's his best move, hands down. And then his worst move, that's probably the harder of the two, to be honestly. I would say probably no, I got it. You want to hear his worst move? His worst move was inviting Hard Knocks in to see who he really is. And the illusion of everything we thought the guy could be was so painfully apparent that it was some weirdo that had some weird, like, I don't even, like, the guy was in no way, shape, or form do I look at this and think that this is a guy that is supposed to be in charge of a football team. Maybe he'd be involved.
When I see him, I think of that douchebag Rick Scott, but that's just me.
Again, a worst move was getting Hard Knocks in the building so we could see it. We were like, oh, they let go of Chad Johnson on camera with not Dennis Hickey. Oh my God. He now is with the Saints. Jeff Ireland. With Jeff Ireland in the room and they're on camera. God, that whole thing. It was pretty bad.
All right. This next one.
Damn. His best thing he did was stick with it, honestly. The guy, Dolphins gave him their shot. You see this happen. Interim head coaches, they shine bright, they dull quick. And then the good ones and the smart ones figure a way to take a step back, but not too far down, and really up their game. This guy's got it, dude. As a competitor, much less a player, but as a competitive coach. I need coaches that are competitive like this because he's trying to get better at his job because he wants to win so damn badly. And his best move, I would say, him and the Lions pulling off that trade to get Goff and all those picks, and they retooled a team and turned around a franchise faster than I've ever seen anything go with something that is so far from grace. I don't know if it'll ever result in a Super Bowl, but if it does, this guy will wear a gold jacket, and people will I don't know if it'll be a big enough statement to point out how bad the Lions were and have been since forever. To think that what if Dan Campbell has done thus far, if it pays off with a Super Bowl, the guy will be, he'll be immortal. He'll be immortal in Detroit. That's what he'll be.
Well, what two ironic things is the fact that we should have had him as a head coach, but because of Dan Campbell, we are now the longest streak without a playoff win.
That's sweet irony.
Before it was the Detroit Lions. Now because Dan Campbell, we took that mantle.
Well, I would say this: Dan Campbell. It's best that he didn't stay with the Dolphins. Honestly, not that I don't want him as a head coach, but it's best that he did what he did and how he did it, because that's really the path you need to take from the interim head coach thing. A lot of these interim head coaches go and they do something, they play real well or do real well in a position group. Like we saw Todd Bowles do this back and forth, right? Interim head coach went and becomes a head coach, falls from grace, goes back DCs, gets head coach job again, falls even faster than the first time with the Cardinals. So to me, Vance Joseph, another one. These types of guys that don't follow what is essentially what I've seen kind of work is where they really take a much further step back, and they kind of he went and sat behind Sean Payton, with the Saints in a broad role to learn the things he needed to know to be a head coach, not a great position coach. And man, it's paid off for that guy.
All right, here we go. But by the way, this as a best move and worst move as a Dolphin. We already know his other. What do you think?
Best move. I don't know. On the contrary of popular belief, some of the things Adam Gase did here were kind of at least fun. Getting Jarvis Landry, sick. Loved Jarvis Landry when he was playing here. Getting Jay Cutler. I thought that was going to be fun. I didn't think it was going to work, but it was fun, right? We had a good time. Smoking Jay Cutler was cool. I don't care what anybody says. It didn't work, and it pissed me off, but I enjoyed that ride. I look, it's funny because living the Adam Gase years, it was terrible. But looking back at the Adam Gase years, they weren't nearly as bad as I thought. As far as the team and the shit show and the everything, it was just kind of right on par with what I expect out of this franchise, to be honest with you, dude. So his best move, I will say, to keep it simple, Jarvis Landry. Worst move is, didn't he get rid of Jarvis Landry?
Yeah. He got rid of Jay Ajayi, too, for fourth-round draft picks.
I got the Jay Ajayi exit. I understood it. But I don't know. He's just a guy, had a dream of this style offense, and if he could find the right type of players, it would work. Mm-hmm. And he just like everybody else. I'm just saying.
If you think about it, he had the finesse offense before the 20. Instead of Jalen Waddle Hill, you had Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant.
That's right. Just to point out, it's the exact same deal. I don't care what you all would say. The only difference between Adam Gase and Mike McDaniel is quarterback play.
So if, let's say, for instance, you would switch Tannehill and put that 2017 Tannehill with
this team,
the 2023 offense, I would say the team, the best.
I would say no matter what team you put Tannehill on, he wasn't going to be good because this style offense is not suited for a quarterback like Ryan Tannehill. It's just not.
Yeah, I got you.
He's more suited for that extra blocker, downhill run, play action pass type of offense, more pro style offense type of setup. And
now I'll take Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry would have been a great number 3 receiver on this team.
I would agree with that.
All right.
Oof. Best thing that Brian Flores ever did
as a Miami Dolphin.
So hard because to be honest, looking back, knowing what you know in retrospect, it's hard to say anything was a good move because it all led to an end calamity that would ultimately be his worst move. You know, I would say the best thing he did was when he came in here and pushed up on Kenny Stills and set the tone instead the TNT wall, and actually, showed people that football is won a different type of way. We have talent be damned, draft status be damned, pay be damned. Football, the game, is won this way. And that attitude and that understanding and that type of preparation showed with lackluster talent. And I think ultimately, if it would have stuck, we would be with talent. If you could find the right talent that could get in with that program, it's hard to do. It's hard to do in today's NFL with these guys. It's going to get even harder as they come out of college millionaires now with the NILs. So, but I would say that TNT wall and that stuff, I would say that was probably his best move, but it also cost him Joe Burrow. It's hard to say he had any good moves, man, because it all led to, it was a bad move to let him get Tua. You know what I'm saying? It's a bad move to not get Lamar Jackson. It was a bad move to not go along with the Tom Brady thing. There's so many avenues he could have taken where it would have been his best stuff. You could have handled this situation differently and not told everybody they don't know shit about football and literally get kind of, hostile in the workplace. It's just a lot of things he could have done differently. So it's really hard. I think in a football sense, he had some really good talent. And if he could have made it stick, that would be his best move, but none of that happened. So,
all right. Two more coaches. These are old school coaches. So,
all right.
one.
Oof.
As a Miami
God. Yes, I get it, but damn, best move drafting whatchamacallit?
Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, we'll say that. And then worst move was just straight lying to everybody's face when everyone knew differently, saying he wasn't going to go to Alabama. And I would say that. I don't really hold any ill will. Oh, man. Best move was being the man that he was. That's all I got for that. I mean, that's the Don there, dude.
Oh yeah,
that's the Don. His worst move was ego. In the end, I think he leaned on Dan in a way. I think he got away from what he could do because he got caught up in reinventing the game. That I think that ego got him in the end as far as the career goes. And I think if he were to ask, he would say that. He was a real honest guy about everything, but the GOAT nonetheless.
All right, here we go. So, best duo, in your opinion? Oh, one more coach. I forgot. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, Jimmy, worst move, really not ever connecting with Dan. And not getting it in a way. And I get it. Dan shares this blame too with wanting to take over and not listen to the way Jimmy wanted to build the team. If Dan would have been a bigger man and listened to Jimmy, we probably would have won a Super Bowl during that time. But at the same time, maybe Jimmy could have handled it differently too, as far as dealing with a literal game-changing superstar like Dan Marino, and how this offense probably could have been tweaked. Best move, getting Zach Thomas. That's an easy one.
And Jason Taylor too. Don't forget
and
that.
Jason Taylor. I don't forget it, but like I can only pick one. So one would be Zach Thomas. That was my favorite player of all time. Still is. Still will forever be.
And man, I trust me. I have my prejudices too, man. So
I love Zach. I think he did it the right way. I think he's the right kind of guy. I wish he would coach, but I understand not wanting to, awaken the demon for football, because I think that's how he played the game, and I respect it. He gave it all, and that's probably why he doesn't coach. That's why he doesn't do that stuff, because the only way you do it is by being ravenous towards it and having an absolute desire to just win.
All right, now better duo.
It's hard to say the Mark brothers and Waddle and Hill. I mean, the Marx brothers easy, I would say, because if they were in this time, they would look a lot of the same and maybe in some ways better. Where if you put them in the others, I don't know. It's hard to say that too.
Well, yeah, one thing I like about
good.
the Marx brothers, that one advantage, and we're not talking about the quarterback, but the one advantage is they were two different type of styles. They have different. They weren't like they were kind of like copies. Where
they weren't cut from the same cloth. They had some dynamic differences between the two.
Yeah, so you have different situations you could use them in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not only that, but I just think of the way the game was played back then, where if you caught the ball, you knew to if that ball was coming in over the bucket down the sideline, and you knew you weren't far enough down the field yet, but you're tracking it, you know if it ends up in your hands or not, that safety's coming to put a helmet through your head. They don't do that no more. I mean, they still pop guys and stuff, but not the way they literally targeted motherfuckers back then, bro. They literally targeted them. I just don't see how if you didn't let guys absolutely myrtleize wide receivers, God, dude, you watch those freaking old videos, especially when it was like on AstroTurf back in those days. Those guys would just anyhow, if you put Waddle and Hill back in those times, I don't think anyone could catch Hill, but if they did, they would kill him. Like he wouldn't make it very long in those times.
I tell you what, he wouldn't be going up the middle.
No, they wouldn't be feeding him any of those tunnel screens.
You had to have some cojones to freaking go in the middle.
Dude, you wouldn't feed him no tunnel screens. You would not do that to him. You wouldn't do it to him because a linebacker just hit him and he'd be dead. Some guy with that roll bar around his neck and he jumps like 4 yards away and just spears him like this with a helmet that weighs 35 pounds.
So, all right, let's get behind enemy lines here real quick. I got 5 players from the division opponents. So here we go. Let's start with this guy. What's the first thing that come to your mind when you think of Josh Allen?
I mean, he's a good football player. He's talented. He's got the stuff, but I don't know what happens. There's this weird thing that happens to him in the playoffs in these moments. They're cursed. I get it, but I also have seen him kind of like get like deer in the headlights on times. But it's weird because I've also seen that same look in him, helicopter in for a friggin' touchdown. It's he's a good football player, but I don't know if he'll ever be able to get it done. This guy used to kill every quarterback, running back. I want to say I have his rookie card somewhere. Yeah, he's just a menace, I would say. Menace. Turncoat. Was a Florida guy, ends up there, doesn't even win anything for the city that loves him so much and so whatever, and associated with nothing but heartbreak. I don't know. In retrospect, how could you not respect Jim Kelly?
Yeah.
You have to respect the guy.
Hey, man, listen, the thing I liked about Jim Kelly is I hated him on Saturdays and I hated him on Sundays. So
there you go. The guy was consistent.
Yeah. All right, and my favorite Buffalo Bill fan. I know my favorite Buffalo Bill. I know that's oxymoron, but he is my favorite Buffalo Bill.
Who is that? Is that OJ?
Yeah.
Is that OJ?
Yeah, OJ, baby, my favorite.
Yeah.
Naked Gun. Hey, by the way, the Naked Gun movie is coming out this weekend. That's one of the reasons I saved
Liam Neeson. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be Liam Neeson this time. I think that's actually a good casting call for him. OJ. I don't know. I didn't really watch OJ, so
I did on the Naked Gun, but that was that.
Yeah, I've seen him on the Naked Gun too.
All right, last one from the enemies.
I mean, Tom's the GOAT. I don't care what you say. I'm man enough to say that the guy, how he played the game, what it meant to him, how he prepared, how how he lived it year round. The guy lived it year round. He didn't take, there was no off season for his diet, no off season for how he's working on his body, treatment, you know,
Dude, what he did for
looking and investing.
Hey, what he used to do for fun was take his wide receivers to a cabin to fucking work on routes.
I mean, that's the guy was obsessed, and you know there was no off season for him, and that's hard work pays off. That's the American in me. You get what you earn and things like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could talk about how things broke right. There's a lot of luck, all that stuff, but Tom Brady, the college kid, you know, the bottom of the depth chart, doing what he did for Michigan, to doing what he did with fucking Patriots, and then, you know, having his third act of life with Tampa. The guy was good. He was the best. He had that Mamba mentality, as it would say. That's that Michael Jordan shit. And anyone who says different's lying. They're just hating. I ain't gonna lie on that, man.
All right. Now let's get to some Dolphin players.
See, so
Cam Wake.
This is gonna piss off some Dolphin fans, but I like Cam Wake more than I like Jason Taylor. I said it. Not more than I like Zach Thomas, but just watching, like, I knew when Jason Taylor was out there that he was going to get the play. But I'll be honest, it seemed to me that I knew Cam Wake was going to get the play longer than it was I knew Jason Taylor was going to get the play. It's a slight edge out, but Cameron Wake was a menace. He was awesome. The guy was huge in the NFL too. Like, he was the billboard guy. He was the face of the team. He was it.
He had the same approach on his nutrition as Tom Brady. He didn't eat.
That's why I thank you, Shake. That's exactly where I was going. Remember when he got injured? They were like, God, dude, he's like 31. Is he going to be able to come back? Come back? Didn't he get like 13 sacks that year? The guy was 13 plus sacks. He would get these. Not only were they just sacks in the game, right, but the biggest moments, and you would see him. He would bend down extra low, and he'd be like all freaking arched, like a mantis or something, and he would just leap off and myrtleize people. He was so good. I remember when he was coming back from that injury, he was pulling a semi truck or something like that out in his house. Yeah. So Ricky, I love Ricky. Who doesn't? Shaved head Ricky was different than dread Ricky. I mean, again, you know how I feel. I've always loved Ricky. I like Ricky's lifestyle. I like how cool he is. I like what he's found for himself after life. Yeah, Ricky's a good guy. So Chris Greer, I think he's a decent grocery shopper, man. I know I don't agree with the team overall idealistically, and I could blame that on him, but when there's moves to be made and draft picks to be picked, Chris Greer always ends up, he's kind of like a professional gambler, right? To be a professional gambler, I think you need to win 52% of the time. That means you're losing almost as much as you're winning, but it's like 53%, and now you're a professional.
What's up,
Von Joe? What's going on, buddy?
All right. Now let's do some Dolphin quarterbacks, and then we'll wrap this up. But before we do, if this year doesn't work out, I've always what career path do you think is better for Mike McDaniel? You have your McDonald's employee, Best Buy, or cover for Digital Underground.
Well, I mean, he's a shoo-in on the Digital Underground, but I think probably the better choice of the two. You can't lose with McDonald's, man. You're always going to have work. Mm-hmm. You know, there's quick management. I think McDonald's is the best thing. And if he gets to go anywhere nationwide too. You know what I mean? plays his cards right, he could be a franchisee.
Mm-hmm. All right. By the way, before we get to the quarterbacks, I can't unsee it, so now you can't unsee it either.
All right. Damn.
What do you think between him and yours? Who do you think right now?
I gotta be honest, it's saying more about her than him. He's just a pretty little boy. She looks like a pretty little boy. That's weird.
All right. Now, let's start off with this QB everybody loves.
Tua. What's to say, man? I mean, he's I'm indifferent to the guy. I've never hated the guy. And in fact, I would imagine most feel this way because he's hard to dislike. Like you watch him, you listen to him. I feel like he's extremely genuine with everything he's saying, doing, and means all of it. I just, in a football sense of just looking at him, I don't feel like it's sustainable that we can edge a team. He can't edge a team out talent wise. I don't see a future in it. That's the bottom line. And I've been waiting for a few years for him to prove it wrong. I mean, greasy dude. Look at him. First of all, he looks like an alien in that photo. He looks like he's straight up an alien. I don't know. But that's how they made him back in those days. Those were the same dudes that would run up on the shores and freaking myrtleize people if we were invading someone or at war with somebody. That's exactly what the kids, the 18 and 19-year-old Marines that stormed the beach in Normandy, that's what they look like right there. And this guy's just one with a football and not a freaking grenade in his hand. That's all it is. And that's the type of execution him and that team brought and ultimately got with the perfect season and following it up with another one.
And last but not least, and he's been in some controversies of lately, just for the fan base. You know how to go there.
Yeah, I know. I know people want to hate on Dan because he didn't win nothing. I mean, him and the same criticism I can give Jim Kelly, I can give Dan. Fuck, I can give more to Dan because Jim Kelly at least got to the Super Bowl multiple times. But when I'm measuring what I want to compete position by position, because in a perfectly coached game, perfectly prepared game, and conditions, everything's ready and set to go. But so is the other team. It is the meeting of two titans, and that's ultimately where it comes down to in the Super Bowls, in those tight ones. Sometimes it's just a runaway, but for the most part, it's going to come down to two evenly matched teams. That's why it's the Super Bowl. It's the one-on-one matchups by the superior talent that does it. And at quarterback, you couldn't ask for more superior talent of a thrower of the football in the pocket guy. You couldn't. The quarterback's job is to hand the ball off to the runner or throw it to the receiver. And there was nobody that possessed better skills, to my eyes, to do those two things. That's it. The guy could make every throw on off footing while dudes are draped on him with a flick of the wrist, and that thing sailed 40 yards. And that is a talent that, to me, if you're finding that talent, I need that first, right? If you, there it is, I want that. So all that other stuff, I can assess running backs, quarterback, or DBs, whatever. I can assess that position by position and what I want from that talent in that position. But it's plain and simple. If I'm looking at quarterbacks and what I want, that is the top of the tier threshold to me. The top of the tier. You're not going to find a better executor of the quarterback position than what I saw out of Dan. Just maybe not so much in the win column. Just talent. Just speaking on purely traits and talent.
So before we wrap this up, because we got to go to Late Night XL over on the Finn's Tailgate.
Yeah, we slide through. We're going to go grab the drinks and everything.
Before I get your early prediction on the Miami Dolphins, I want to know what do you have this up and coming? What do you personally have coming up for the Finn's Tailgate this up and coming season? Besides, I know you're going to be calling games. Besides calling the games,
So I'll be calling the games. I'll be definitely doing shows, during the week. That's there'll be no set days on my shows really. I'm trying to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but it's looking like maybe a Monday, a Tuesday. 3 out of those 4 days I'm coming at you, and then I'm coming to you calling the games. Be here on Saturday night, exhale at the tailgate, and everything else I'll try to work in and out. I've definitely got some people that I've already been in contact with as far as getting some people lined up to come in during the week and, as some special guests, some people in the community, some people you guys know or don't know. So those will be coming at you, as well as whatever else. You know what I'm saying? I actually did a show the other day, just went live on the ride back, for an hour or so. So we're putting out tons and tons of more shorts. So we're keeping the content flowing as if we used to. Little bit of this, little bit of that, because you got all the other guys. You got TMI, you got the drive time with you, Shake, all that stuff. But for me,
and Insomnia, don't forget Insomnia, baby.
Insomnia, yeah. Right. Yes, can't wait. But yeah, that's kind of how it's going for me. So
all right,
best just be subscribed. You got to be subscribed and hit the notification bell, because that's the only way you're going to find out when El Capitan's there.
So what's your prediction? What's your record prediction? So we get on wax right now.
It's 8-9 or 9-8. It's one of the two. It could shake out either way. That'll depend on how many games Tua plays. And that'll depend on, we'll probably win one we shouldn't have won against an opponent that,
hopefully it's Buffalo.
Maybe. And then we'll lose one we shouldn't have lost. And that end result will come down to realistic matchups, us going, we might predict a win, but also whatever. But realistic matchups ending in a 8-9 or a 9-8. Now that could swing higher, but I don't think it's going to be any reason other than, like, I don't know, this team doesn't have their starting quarterback, something to that effect. I'm not very high on this team doing much more than being mediocre right now. Too worried about injuries with what is to appear. The strength of this defense will be the D-line, and that's a couple of guys on there that have gotten injured the past years. I can't not take that into our calculus. You know what I'm saying? Offense is only going to run well and hum and be explosive at times with Tua back there. At least what I could count on. And no one else has done it yet. But also, I can't count on Tua being there. That looks like 9-8 wins. That's what it is.
Hell yeah. So, all right, man, we'll kick it backstage for a second, then we'll head over to Late Night XL. So, y'all, appreciate you once again for, giving us the platform and allowing us to do what we do here over on the Finn's Tailgate, man.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
And, man, like I said, this Thursday will be the season finale with Lucci. Y'all tune in, and we out this bitch.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone